What it do, good people? You know what time of day is, man. It's that time when Zubz speaks his mind about a couple of things that are happening around him. I just released two singles, under a group or duo called the Supreme Moors, which is a duo that consists of producer and beat maker, Propound, and myself. Propound, obviously making beats, Zubz writing the lyrics and the music. And so we just did a track called Outrageous, which was some sort of tribute to the stable Outrageous and also to one of my favorite MCs in the world, but definitely my top one MC in Africa. And so a lot of people have been asking me, why Zubz, bro? Why you could have went with Proverb, you could have went with Kato, you could have went with H2O. I mean, why Zubz, But what they fail to understand is that, I really, really hold Zubz up to that, to that level. I think he's one of the greatest to ever do this. And I mean, there's no way of going about it, though, except the fact that, he's that guy. You know what I'm saying? He's really, really that guy. How can I put this? Zubz, man, I've always been a fan of him since, the first time I heard his music around 2004, I believe that's when Tux really introduced me to him. And when he introduced me to him, man, I was listening to a whole bunch of stuff. I was listening to Quiet Though. I was listening to, obviously, American hip hop. Listening to like Tupac. I didn't have, a lot of CDs or cassettes. I couldn't even afford a CD player at home. We were playing cassettes at the time. My brothers were into R&B mostly, which they're still into heavily right now. But I was, when I heard, All Eyes on Me, and I heard, obviously, Quiet was the thing. I'm a South African, so Quiet was the thing. At the same time, we had Squatter Camp now coming in. But when I heard Listeners Digest, when I heard the Book of Proverbs, when I heard Live at the Baseline by Dumi, my whole life changed, because that's when I decided to be a certain kind of a musician or MC. So Zubz, but Zubz and Zubz's Handienda was really, really dear to me, and yeah, obviously the whole Listeners Digest, and everything like that. But I then moved on to to other projects by Zubz and got to even love him more, because if you listen to headphone music in a parallel world, it's a really, really beautiful album, different from Listeners Digest. Zubz has been growing with every project, and then if you listen to Cochlear, he was really, really also evolving into his writing and his storytelling. But what stands out for me about Zubz is his storytelling. I think every MC can write punchlines. That's exactly what gets you in the door. If Zubz was really, really recognized as one of the best MCs to ever be, I guess, recognized or identified at the time, that tells you that he must have really, really been good at writing. I've heard, of him, I've heard that he has battled a couple of MCs as well, not really big on a battle, but I guess he has lived through that. He actually mentions it on Standing Ovation that he won a battle and he had a flu at the same time. He won a battle with a flu, and that day I think he was having a fever or something like that, but he still won the battle. So he does talk about his battle rap era, but I don't think he focused on that. He focused on the storytelling, the oral tradition. The reason why I respect Zubz the Last Letter is because of his ability to tell stories, dog, and not just stories about rap and everything like that, but his ability to tell real life stories, our stories. I mean, if you listen to Cochlear, I mean, he's got stories. If you listen to Live It Up, if you listen to, I think Green Tea or whatever. I think if you listen to Part Time Lover, if you listen to there's this song, they keep telling me, my girls, everybody's saying that my girls, I mean, agnostic, feature, like, bro, I can go on, dog. Like, that storytelling is the the conceptual thinking. It's unmatched. I don't know any other MC that has done that in South Africa. If you have one MC that has written on that level, please introduce me to that MC, because I know none. I just don't know none whatsoever. But on Cochlear, there's a song called Traditional Hair with Unconditional Love, and on that song, Zubz writes an amazing verse. I mean, both verses are dope, don't get me wrong, but the first verse is what I believe Molemo Milo would call thick description. In a sense that Zubz describes how an African woman would look, would sit, or would perform gestures. I mean, in the song, he describes, a way that we communicate as African people that I thought was amazing. I thought, like, him being able to capture that was extremely amazing. So let me see if I can go through it, because I think I know the whole verse by heart. So he says, her left hand got her elbow, right got me a drink. Jenna flapped as I accepted, right got me to think. She's the truth. And suddenly I start to see her differently. Fish scales fall from my eyeballs, and instantly I notice how she had her head to the left, slightly tilted on the sofa's edge with her legs tightly glued like they sewed together at the knees. Back straight, hands on her lap's weight. I can't believe I'm sitting in the presence of a queen. In reverence of me, a peasant in comparison, indeed she's the truth. So Eve makes Adam a man. Conversation got us stranded on a catamaran in the middle of the ocean of desire, stoking up my fire, stroking my entire being, open with her views of the role that a man should play, fulfill her dreams as well as a fantasy. I mean, and that's how he ends the verse. On the second verse, he continues, bro. You know what I mean? He continues. But focus on the first verse. Because when he says her left hand got her elbow, this is how we give in African culture. You have to hold your hand when you offer someone something. It's a sign of respect. And the receiver has to accept it with the right hand, because if you accept it with the left hand, it's seen as disrespect. You understand? Now, she says she's the truth, and suddenly I start to see her differently. Fish scales fall from my eyeballs, and instantly I notice how she had her head to the left. So she had her head to the left, right? This is the left. Slightly tilted on the sofa's edge. So it was tilted on the sofa edge, that's how, an African woman would say. Tilted on the sofa's edge with her legs tightly glued. So with her legs tightly glued. So she was sitting like this, back straight. So she was sitting like this, back straight, hands on her laps. So the woman was sitting something like this. And in African culture, if you've watched soapies like Muvango, you will notice that kind of sitting or setup. It's a sitting that is meant for women of tradition and women who have a high respect for their cultures. And so, like, for him to be able to describe that was amazing. on a song, dog. Like on a song, like that's thick. This you are describing a whole thing. You understand? And so that part of the verse, and then she says, suddenly I start to see her differently. Fish scales fall from my eyeballs, and instantly I notice how she had her head to the left, slightly tilted on the sofa's edge, with her legs tightly glued, like they sewed together at the knees. Back straight, hands on her laps. Wait, I can't believe I'm sitting in the presence of a queen. Tell me, how do you open a verse like that if you're just not amazing as a writer? I think of all the MCs that I've got a chance to listen to, 2 MCs stood out for me. As far as storytelling is concerned, it has to be The Last Emperor, one of the greatest storytellers I think in hip hop, period. And then Zubz. I have no knowledge of any other. I have no knowledge. If you know other MCs that are great storytellers, yo, listen, hit me up. But then that's why I chose Zubz to aspire to, to become like, or to aspire to write like, because I feel like he's one of those MCs that has not really gotten the shine, because his style was really, really, groundbreaking, if I may say. It was really groundbreaking, because in songs like Handi Yende, he addresses issues like polygamy, which is also another beautiful storytelling song. And that's why I aspire to write like him. I think he's one of the greatest MCs. I think South Africa or Africa as a country, no, not as a country, but as a continent, is the reason why, great people like Zubz are not getting, the respect they deserve. But, with that said, man, I just wanted to tell people why I really, really honor Zubz, and why I honor Outrageous, because when Outrageous existed, alternative, hip hop had a place. I see, the likes of Chris and Ty, they're trying with the Tough Jam Entertainment. We are looking at, what Sotra Cypher is doing. We are looking at, other, hip hop. I think the studio next door is still trying. We've seen, great acts coming out of that. But what I'm essentially trying to say is that Outrageous was really the backbone of that type of hip hop at the time. You understand? If there was no Outrageous, we probably wouldn't have had a Proverb. We probably wouldn't have had a Zubz. Probably wouldn't have had a Heavy 8. No H2O. You understand? No optical illusion. You know what I'm saying? So it's the importance of that stable and the need for such a stable in South Africa right now that is going to be home to those kind of MCs that are trying to spit on that level. And that's just me bringing awareness, but also archiving that aspect of of South African hip hop that I believe the youngins have sort of like I think the youngins, obviously there's the South African Museum, but I think the South African Hip Hop Museum, by the way, not the South African Museum. But I feel like in a song, because MCs and rappers listen more to songs. I think I had to archive it the best way I could and show respect. And I think it was Kesh Spaniovest who did a song called Doksha Beleza, and this is Pel Tusi by but no, all of these rappers are not really giving respect to the OGs that existed before them. Understand? The people like Pro, people we need to sing like him. Obviously, to sing about him. Any MC actually that you like, you need to talk about him and give them the glory and the respect that they deserve. You understand? And with that said, man, I would like to end here. Peace to Outrageous and peace to Devious D for giving me the voice note. Legend. I used to listen to your songs on Hype, bro. And now I got to I worked with you, and me and you will now have a relationship. Peace to Yambo for actually being generous enough to give me the, the voice note as well. It really meant a lot. Shout out to Reg Dilla for making that happen. With that said, man, peace to everybody. Supreme Elite is still gonna be dropping. We're still gonna have Supreme Wars dropping. The whole thing called featuring. It's titled Village Metropolis, and yeah, it features Horizon from Mind Your Soul. Yeah, it's gonna be a beautiful project, epic. Yo, stay tuned. With that, peace and love, man. I just wanted to talk about my legend, Zubz the Last Letter. Peace.